I recently posted a series of videos about living and retiring in Panama, and I've received tons of comments and dozens of questions. And one topic that keeps coming up over and over again is the topic of healthcare. So I figured rather than respond to each individual comment, I create a separate video to explain a little bit more about the healthcare system in Panama. Some of the common questions I got were questions about the public system versus the private system, whether or not foreigners could be able to use the public system. What are some of the private healthcare options, including hospitals and clinics, as well as questions about insurance and other medical costs. So in today's video, I'm going to break down answers to some of your top questions related to healthcare in Panama. This should go without saying, but I am not a medical expert. This is not medical advice. You should definitely talk to your own healthcare provider before making any major decisions about your personal healthcare. Also, in this video, I am going to be talking about some different types of healthcare plans, and I am not a health insurance provider. I can't sell you a policy, but what I can do is share links to everything that I've talked about in this video down in the description so that you can take a look at that after you've watched this video, do your own research, talk to the proper professionals, and then hopefully make the decision that makes the most sense for you and your personal healthcare situation. So go ahead, grab a pen and paper or your favorite note-taking device so we can go ahead and get started. Welcome back to Almost Retired Abroad. If you're new here, I'm Kimberly, and on this channel we talk about living, traveling, and working abroad. And one of the main considerations for living abroad or living anywhere as a retiree is healthcare. The good news is if you're thinking about retiring in Panama, you have a variety of options, many of which are very affordable, especially when you compare it to some of the healthcare costs in the United States. So what are some of your options in Panama? So Panama does have a public and a private healthcare system. Obviously, Panamanians are eligible to utilize the public healthcare system in Panama. But if you are a retiree or a resident in Panama, you are eligible to utilize the services at the public hospital, and you will find the costs to be very affordable, especially compared to the private healthcare options available in Panama. There are some excellent private healthcare options throughout Panama. You will find a lot of major hospitals kind of located within Panama City, but there are options in other parts of the country as well. So I'm going to share with you just a few of the private healthcare options, mostly for those of you thinking about moving to Panama City. So the first one is called Pacifica Salud, and the Pacifica Hospital actually is affiliated with Johns Hopkins Hospital here in the United States. So that can kind of give you an idea of the standard of care that they provide. And if we take a quick look at the Pacifica Salud website, you will see that they have a lot of information that you can use to do your research before ever even moving to Panama. So some of the services that they offer include things like radiology, emergency care, they have a cardiovascular center, and people also come there for medical tourism. Additionally, on the Pacifica Salud website, you can also find out which insurance companies' policies they will accept. And so on their website, they show not only the Panamanian insurance companies that they accept, but they also show a very robust list of international health insurance policies that they will take as well. So if you are thinking about looking into some sort of an international healthcare policy and you're not really sure where to start, this is kind of a robust list of some of the names of some of the different companies that you can utilize in your search. And if you're thinking about living in Panama City and you want to utilize Pacifica Salud for your healthcare needs, this will give you an idea of the type of insurers that they would accept. So also in Panama City, they have a very modern facility called the Panama Clinic. And I know that normally, like if you're from the US and you think about a clinic, you think maybe more like urgent care, like you're gonna go there instead of the emergency room, or maybe you have a cold, or you did something like, broke a finger or something small that you just wanna go in and get care for, and the clinic can usually help you. But while the name is the Panama Clinic, that might seem a little deceiving if you're from the US, because it is a full-on hospital and medical facility that provides a variety of services. Some of those services include radiology, lab results, they provide cancer care, they do eye surgery, robotic surgery, urology, they have cancer treatment for various different types of cancers. So it really is a very modern clinic with a lot of providers and specialists in a variety of areas. They do also offer medical tourism where you can, fly in to get treatment for various illnesses. And they do have a whole section about that on their website. Also on their website, they have a list of all of the insurance that they accept, so you have a better idea of whether or not your plan might work at the Panama clinic. So an important note about insurance, if you're looking into international healthcare coverage, you might find that a lot of companies actually have age restrictions. And typically, once you're over the age of 75, it gets really difficult to find plans that will accept you. And typically, if they do, the prices are through the roof. If you're thinking about moving to Panama, there are companies within Panama, Panamanian insurance companies that there are some that will provide policies for people who are senior citizens. But again, it's going to vary from company to company, and it is going to cost more if you're over a certain age. So there are a couple of things that you could potentially do if you find yourself in a situation where you're a little bit too old for new insurance coverage. So one option is potentially utilizing the services at Hospital Santa Fe or the Santa Fe Hospital. One of the things that's interesting about the Santa Fe Hospital is that they actually have a medical plan that is just for the hospital, and they do have a plan that is for senior citizens. So you don't have to worry about being discriminated against because of your age. You can still get access to an insurance plan through the hospital. And if you go on their website, you can fill out a form to get some more information to find out more about what that type of plan might cost. But just know that the way that their insurance works, it is tied directly to the hospital, so you can utilize the hospital for both doctor's visits and other health-related needs. Some of the services that the hospital offers include various surgeries, biopsies, diagnostic and laboratories tests, occupational health services. Some of the different specialties offered by Santa Fe Hospital include cardiology, endocrinology, geriatrics and gerontology, family medicine, kidney care, oncology, cancer-related surgery, interventional radiology, proctology, radiologic oncology. So a very wide variety of specialists offered through Santa Fe Hospital, and you'd have access to those if you choose to utilize their medical plan. Again, I will leave a link in the description to this information so that you can do some additional research on your own and determine whether or not this is something that you might possibly be interested in. If you're finding value in this video, please consider giving it a like. It helps YouTube to recommend it to other viewers just like you who are also looking for information about living, traveling, and working abroad. Thanks, now back to the video. So one of the top questions that I get is, do I really need insurance or can I self-pay? And that's really up to you. That's not a question that I can answer for you. Well, I will say that, in general, medical costs, especially for routine visits and lab work, are significantly cheaper in Panama than they might be in the US. I mean, recently I was looking at a couple websites that were showing walk-in services for things like mammograms or lab tests. These things were under $50, and that's not a copay. That's the actual cost for the procedure. So it certainly can be cheaper than what you would spend in the United States if you're self-paying. The thing about it, though, is if you find yourself in a situation where you have an emergency or you need some sort of emergency medical care, and maybe, God forbid, you get hit by a bus or you have something happen like a heart attack or a stroke or some other major surgery that you need, if you don't have insurance, you're going to have to pay for that out of pocket, and costs for those types of procedures can escalate very quickly, literally into the tens of thousands of dollars. And, depending upon where the services are rendered, quite often it is common for them to ask for payment up front for different types of surgeries. And so you may not be prepared to pay that kind of a bill. So, again, it's a personal choice whether or not you want to have insurance, but having insurance can definitely help fill in the gaps if you find yourself in a situation where you need, some sort of critical or emergency care. I will say though, that for some folks that are trying to save a few dollars, one other option that they have that is kind of like less expensive than insurance, but still allows opportunity to get access to healthcare, is a service called MiniMed. So MiniMed is actually a series of clinics as well as a hospital located in various areas throughout Panama. And they have what they call an Expat Health membership. And that membership only costs $20 a month or $220 if you pay for the year. And this allows you access to their facilities to see multiple specialists as well as routine medical visits. And all you're paying is that $20 a month for your membership. So let's say, I don't know, you wake up tomorrow with a cold and you decide, I need to go in, I need to get some medicine. You can go in, you can meet with a doctor, you can get your medicine and everything. And you won't have to pay a copay. Just your membership is all that you need in order to get the treatment that you need. So there are some limitations with MiniMed. It does not cover everything. And so I'm not going to go into all the details about that. Again, I don't work for MiniMed. I'm just sharing with you some research that I've done in my own search to figure out what I'm going to do in retirement. So I will share the links to MiniMed down below so you have some more information to see if this is the kind of service that is something that you might be interested in. Probably, when it comes to insurance in Panama, I should also probably mention that there are actually a number of hospitals in Panama at the time of recording this video that do accept Medicare Advantage for emergencies only. You would, though, want to do some more research about that, maybe reach out to whatever hospitals that you're interested in, see if they accept your Medicare Advantage plan, because again, that's going to vary. And I don't have a list of that. I can't answer that question for you, but if you reach out to any hospitals that you're interested in directly, they could certainly answer those questions for you. Also, if you are a U.S. military veteran, there are a number of hospitals and healthcare providers in Panama that do actually work with the VA to provide overseas medical care. So that's something that you can look into as well. I would probably start by talking to a VA counselor, either in your town where you're living currently, or if you're already in Panama, they have VA counselors there as well that can help you figure out which locations would make the most sense for you to go to based off of your personal situation. If you're really not sure about healthcare in Panama and you want to get some real answers to your questions, one thing you might consider is getting a health consultation with a doctor at one of the actual facilities. And many of the places that I've mentioned, they do offer the opportunity for you to do like a telehealth visit. It won't be free, but you can at least do a consultation with a local physician to discuss your medical history and to find out if they can provide the type of care that you need for your specific situation. Additionally, you can go over any medications that you're taking and they can tell you whether or not those medications are available in Panama, because their availability of medications versus where you're coming from may or may not be the same. And so the doctor will really be able to iron all of that out for you and help you figure out if the healthcare services provided in Panama are going to meet your medical needs. So again, it won't be free, but at least it will give you peace of mind before you pick up and move your entire life to Panama. So there really are a lot of options in Panama when it comes to healthcare, but the bottom line is to have insurance, to not have insurance, to go to a hospital or to go to a clinic. These are all personal choices that you're going to have to decide for yourself. But I hope you found some of the information in this video helpful. Like I said, I will link all of the different things that I've talked about down in the description so you can continue your research and talk to the proper professionals to determine what healthcare solution is best for you. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.